It is that time of year once again, ladies and gentlemen. Here on College Hoops Tonight, we are doing previews of all of the major conferences, starting with the Big 12. Let's get right into it. All right, coming in at number 10, the bottom spot of the Big 12, I've got the Kansas State Wildcats. The Wildcats have a really depleted core right now in Manhattan. They do have a couple of guys coming in, though, through the transfer portal, including Keontae Johnson and David N'Guessan from Virginia Tech. They lose Nigel Pack to Miami, which is definitely going to hurt, and then Mark Smith to graduation. This team should be led by lead guard Marcus Noel. He was solid last year. They're going to need to be really defensive-minded if they're going to be competitive this year. They're going to have to play solid defense and hit the three ball really well to stay in games. I seriously doubt that Keontae Johnson can come back to be the player he was before, but if the Wildcats are going to be any good, Keontae Johnson is going to have to be that player he was at Florida where he could score from all three levels. Is this an NCAA tournament team? No, I don't think so. There's too many questions on this squad and not enough answers. The Big 12 is going to be tough this year. Honestly, I think this team got worse. I have them at about a 10% chance of making the NCAA tournament. All right, next up at number 9, I've got the West Virginia Mountaineers. The Mountaineers bring in a couple of solid guys into Morgantown this year, including Trey Mitchell, the Texas transfer, Emmett Matthews, the Washington transfer, and Eric Stevenson, the three-point sniper from South Carolina. The problem is the Mountaineers lose a ton of talent, including their best player in a long time, Taz Sherman, as well as Sean McNeil and a couple of other guys who were impactful on that squad last year. This team, once again, is going to be guard-heavy as always. They're going to have someone fill the shoes of Taz Sherman as that lead guard. And honestly, Trey Mitchell from Texas is going to have to step up right away and be that offensive catalyst for this team. Personally, I don't trust their offense overall. I don't think this is an NCAA tournament team once again. I think they're an unlikely tournament team, right around a 25% chance. All right, coming in at the number 8 seed in the Big 12, I've got the Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners got some guys, some really solid guards coming into Norman this year, including Otega Oweh, 67th ranked recruit in the nation, 6'6" shooting guard, really talented guy. And then Milos Uzan, the 71st ranked player in the country, the point guard, 6'4", great length. He is really solid. Then they got a couple of really solid transfers as well, including Grant Sherfield from Nevada and Joe Bamilze from George Washington. They lose a couple of guys as well, including Emoja Gibson, Jordan Goldwire, who was a catalyst for him last year, and Elijah Harkless, who transferred out this year. As always, Oklahoma is going to be really guard-heavy. They play a lot on the perimeter. They should score a lot better than they did last year. Offensively, they're going to be led by Tanner Groves, the super senior, and Grant Sherfield, the transfer from Nevada. Is this team an NCAA tournament team? Maybe. I've got them at around a fringe tournament team, maybe a 50-50 chance for the Sooners. Coming in at number 7 in the Big 12, I've got the TCU Horned Frogs. The Horned Frogs are really weird in terms of player movement because there's so much movement in college basketball nowadays. They haven't lost anybody, and they really haven't added anybody that's really a catalyst for this team. They're basically all back, and what they bring back is a really defensive-minded basketball team. That is what they're going to hang their hat on. This year, they're going to be led offensively once again by Mike Miles Jr. He is a solid leading guard for them. I love him for TCU. And then also Eddie Lampkin, the big man, should take a big step as a sophomore. He had a big NCAA tournament in TCU's run. Is TCU an NCAA tournament team? I've got them at about a 50-50 chance. I think they're a fringe tournament team as well, coming in at number 7 in the Big 12. All right, at number 6 in the Big 12, I've got the Iowa State Cyclones. The Cyclones bring in a lot of new talent into Ames this year, including Osun Asunyi, a quality big man from St. Bonaventure, and Jaron Holmes, the nice veteran guard who can shoot the three ball really well. They also bring in a couple of nice role players in the transfer portal as well. Unfortunately, The Cyclones lose a couple of talented players to the NBA and in the transfer portal. Isaiah Brockington, their leading scorer, and Tyrese Hunter to Texas. This team, once again, going to be super defensive-minded under TJ Otzenberger. They always are a defensive-minded basketball team. They're going to score by committee, and they're probably not going to score a lot of points. So you're going to see a lot of these games that Iowa State plays in where both teams score in the 50s, but that favors the Cyclones big time. The biggest question mark for them, honestly, is can they shoot the three ball better? They were right around 30% as a team. They got to be better in that area. If they do, they're going to be an NCAA tournament team. I think they will improve in this aspect. I do think they're an NCAA tournament team. I think their defense paves the way. I have them at right around that 9 through 11 seed range. About the same range as last year. All right, moving on to number 5 in the Big 12. I've got the Oklahoma State Cowboys. The Cowboys bring in a couple of solid guys, really just role players in through the transfer portal into Stillwater, including Caleb Ashbury, Russell Harris, and John Michael Wright, a high-scoring guard from High Point. The only guy they lose is guard Bryce Williams to graduation. This team, once again, going to hang their hat on defense. The biggest question mark, honestly, for them is who's going to step up and be that go-to scorer. They need to be better at shooting the three ball this year. They addressed that better in the transfer portal. I think they'll be an improved basketball team this year. Are they an NCAA tournament team? Yes, I believe so. I think, once again, they fit right in that 9 through 11 seed range. All right, moving on towards the top of the Big 12. At number 4, we've got Texas Tech and the Red Raiders. They bring in a ton of new talent into Lubbock this year, including Davion Harbin in the transfer portal from Oregon and Fardaws Amik from Utah Valley, the best rebounder and shot blocker in the nation last year. They also bring in a couple of solid freshmen as well. The Red Raiders do lose a lot of talent as well, including Kevin McCullar, Terrence Shannon Jr., Adonis Arms. This team will be completely made anew under head coach Mark Adams. Senior Kevin O'Banner will have to take a huge role offensively for this team. He's going to have to shoot the three ball well and score at all three levels like he did when he was at Oral Roberts. Likely they're going to rely on their no-middle defense to win low-scoring games once again. That's no surprise for this Texas Tech team. Are they an NCAA tournament team? Yes, I believe so. I think they're a mid-tier tournament team, right around a 7 or an 8 seed. All right, looking at number 3 in the Big 12, I've got the Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns are back in basketball. They bring in a ton of new talent into Austin this year, including the number 5 ranked player in the country, Dylan Mitchell, a really talented, versatile wing for the Longhorns. They also bring in a couple of solid guards, including freshman Arterio Morris and Tyrese Hunter from the transfer portal. They also bring in Sir Jabari Rice, a three-point specialist from New Mexico State. They don't really lose a ton of guys leaving Austin this year. I mean, Andrew Jones and Courtney Ramey were solid role players for them, but they were not huge catalysts of this team. Like many other teams in the Big 12, defense is going to be their priority. They're going to play slow basketball, a lot of low-scoring games, very reminiscent of how Chris Beard coached at Texas Tech, but they're going to be so talented this year. I think they're going to improve a ton. Are they an NCAA tournament team? Yes, absolutely. I have them as a high-tier tournament team, a 1 through a 4 seed. All right, coming in at number 2, I've got the Baylor Bears in the Big 12. They bring in a couple of solid guys into Waco this year as well, including Keontae George, a superstar guard who's the number 7 player in the country. They also bring a couple of solid combo wings in through the transfer portal as well, including Caleb Lawner and Jalen Bridges from BYU and West Virginia, respectively. They do lose a couple of important guys, including their leading scorer, James Aquino, to graduation, Matthew Meyer, obviously, through the transfer portal, and Jeremy Sohan to the NBA. Once again, the Bears are going to be focused on defense. I do think they're going to push the pace a little more this year with the addition of Keontae George. On offense, they're going to be led by returning leading scorer Adam Flagler and the superstar freshman, Keontae George. Is this team an NCAA tournament team? Yes, absolutely. Once again, I've got them as another 1 through 4 seed coming out of the Big 12. And last but not least, the number 1 team in the Big 12. Surprise, surprise, it is the reigning national champions, the Kansas Jayhawks. The Jayhawks absolutely reloaded this basketball team coming into the 2022 season. A ton of talent coming into Lawrence, headlined by Grady Dick and Kevin McCullar. They lose a ton of guys, including Ochai Agbaji, Christian Brown, David McCormick, and Remy Martin, all to the NBA or graduation. This team should rely heavily on junior forward Jalen Wilson and transfer Kevin McCullar to carry the offensive load. They're going to be a score-by-committee style team this year under Bill Self. They're going to push the pace. They're going to play fast. Nothing surprising from a Bill Self-coached basketball team. Are they an NCAA tournament team? Absolutely. I've got them as the best team in the Big 12. I think they're a high-tier tournament team, right around a 1 through a 4 seed. Thank you so much for listening. That was our Big 12 preview. Coming up next, we've got the Pac-12 preview coming out next week. Tune in, subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.